The architecture of refusal, sovereignty, scarcity, and the ultimate power of no. In the vast, chaotic marketplace of human interaction, there exists a fundamental economic law that governs the value of every soul, every hour, and every ounce of effort. Scarcity determines worth. We live in a world that relentlessly conditions us to believe that agreeableness is a virtue, that availability is a sign of loyalty, and that the word yes is the golden key to acceptance. From the moment we are children, we are rewarded for compliance and punished for defiance. We are taught that to serve is to be good, and to refuse is to be selfish. But if one strips away the moral varnish and looks at the raw mechanics of power through a Machiavellian lens, one sees a starkly different reality. Yes is the currency of the slave. No is the currency of the master. The man who says yes to everything possesses nothing, for his time, his energy, and his will belong to the whims of others. He is a commodity, flooding the market with his own presence until his value drops to zero. Conversely, the man who masters the art of no creates an artificial scarcity around his existence. He transforms himself from a commodity into a luxury good. By denying access, he creates desire. By drawing a boundary, he forces the world to acknowledge his sovereignty. To understand the power of refusal, we must first dissect the pathology of the yes man. Deep within the psyche of the perpetual pleaser lies not kindness, but cowardice. It is a survival strategy born of a deep-seated fear of abandonment and a desperate need for external validation. The nice guy believes that if he accommodates every request, if he stays late at the office, if he listens to every bore, and if he agrees with every opinion, he will purchase safety. He thinks he is buying love. In reality, he is buying contempt. Human beings are predatory by nature. When they sense a lack of boundaries, they do not feel gratitude. They feel the urge to encroach further. They perceive the yes man as a resource to be mined, not a peer to be respected. This is the tragedy of abundance. Air is vital for survival, yet we pay nothing for it because it is everywhere. Diamonds are useless for survival, yet we kill for them because they are rare. When you are always available, you are air, necessary perhaps, but unnoticed and unvalued. When you learn to say no, you become the diamond. The transition from a mindset of abundance to a mindset of strategic scarcity begins with a reevaluation of one's own resources. Time and mental energy are the only non-renewable assets you possess. Every time you say yes to a minor request, a coffee meeting you don't want, or a project that doesn't serve your ambition, you are effectively burning a piece of your life that you will never get back. The Machiavellian views his energy as investment capital. He does not squander it on low-yield ventures. He hoards it. He guards it with a jealousy that borders on paranoia. This hoarding creates a psychic pressure. When you stop leaking your energy into the void of other people's demands, that energy accumulates within you. It builds a density of presence. People can feel it. When a man who rarely speaks finally opens his mouth, the room goes silent. When a man who rarely accepts invitations finally shows up, his presence is an event. This is the gravity of refusal. By withholding yourself, you increase the gravitational pull of your character. However, executing the refusal requires overcoming the biological programming of the herd. We are hardwired to seek tribal cohesion. Saying no feels like a risk of expulsion. It triggers a spike of cortisol, the stress hormone. The novice feels guilty, anxious, and terrified of the awkward silence that follows a refusal. The master learns to reframe this anxiety as the thrill of combat. He understands that the awkward silence is not a void to be filled with apologies. It is a weapon to be wielded. This brings us to the cardinal rule of the dark psychology of refusal. Never explain, never apologize. When the average person says no, they immediately follow it with a because. I can't come because I have to wash my cat. Or, I can't do that project because I'm already swamped. This is a fatal error. The moment you offer a reason, you convert your refusal into a negotiation. You are handing the other person a lever to pry open your defenses. If you say you are busy, they will say, "How about next week?" If you say you don't have the money, they will offer a payment plan. You have not drawn a boundary. You have merely stated an obstacle, and obstacles are meant to be overcome. The sovereign no is complete in itself. It requires no buttress. No, I won't be doing that. No, that doesn't work for me. No. When you deliver a refusal without justification, you signal absolute status. You are communicating that your will is the highest law in your world. You do not answer to their tribunal. You do not need their permission to deny them. This creates a cognitive shock in the recipient. They are used to people engaging in the social dance of polite excuses. When they encounter a naked no, they hit a wall. They are forced to confront the reality that you are not a puzzle to be solved, but a force to be respected. The silence that follows your refusal is the crucible in which your value is forged. If you speak first, you lose value. If you hold the silence, looking them in the eye with a calm, detached benevolence, their respect for you skyrockets. They realize you are not afraid of them, and more importantly, you are not afraid of losing them. This willingness to walk away, to lose the deal, the relationship, or the opportunity is the source of all negotiating power. He who cares less wins. In any interaction, the person who is most willing to say no controls the frame. Consider the dynamic of dating and romance through this lens. The desperate suitor who agrees to everything, who drops his plans to answer a text, who tolerates disrespect to keep the peace, is viewed with repulsion. He is safe and therefore boring. He is easy and therefore cheap. Contrast this with the individual who has high standards, who creates barriers to entry, who is willing to reject anyone who does not meet their criteria. This person triggers the chase instinct. Humans value what they have to work for. By saying no to low-effort behavior, you are not just protecting yourself, you are training the other person to treat you like a prize. You are utilizing the concept of intermittent reinforcement. If the door is always open, no one knocks. If the door is locked, they will bang on it, pleading for entry. Your no is the lock, but the power of no extends far beyond interpersonal squabbles. It is the foundation of strategic focus. In the pursuit of greatness, yes is the enemy of excellence. Warren Buffett famously noted that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. To build an empire, a masterpiece, or a legacy, you must ruthlessly eliminate the trivial. You must act as the bouncer of your own mind. Every distraction, every drama, every mediocre opportunity is a trespasser trying to enter your club. You must reject them at the door. This requires a form of ruthless essentialism. It means looking at a perfectly good opportunity and rejecting it because it is not a great opportunity. It means disappointing people. It means being called arrogant or distant. The Machiavellian accepts these labels as badges of honor. Being called selfish by a manipulator is simply proof that you are no longer easy to manipulate. When someone accuses you of being changed or different because you have started saying no, they are actually mourning the death of the convenient version of you that served their interests. Do not comfort them. Let that version of you die. As you cultivate this power, you will notice a shift in the quality of your interactions. You will repel the parasites, the energy vampires who feed on easy victims. They will find your boundaries too rigid, your skin too thick, and they will move on to softer targets. This is a filtration system. At the same time, you will attract other high-value individuals. Strong people respect strength. When a predator meets another predator in the wild, there is a mutual recognition of danger and capability. When you look a strong person in the eye and say no with conviction, they may not get what they want, but they will recognize you as a player in the game, not a pawn. You move from the audience to the stage. However, the art of refusal is not a blunt instrument. It is a scalpel. You do not run around shouting no to everyone like a petulant child. That is reactivity, not strategy. The master uses the soft no and the delayed no as tactical maneuvers. The delayed no, let me think about it, is a power move that buys you time and establishes that you operate on your own schedule. It keeps the other person in a state of suspense. They are waiting for your judgment. During that waiting period, your value increases in their mind. They begin to simulate scenarios, hoping for your approval. You have occupied their mental real estate without paying rent. The soft no is the velvet glove over the iron fist. It is the art of rejecting the request while validating the person, assuming that person is useful to you. I love that idea for you, but it doesn't fit my current strategic focus. You are not rejecting them. You are rejecting the misalignment. This preserves the alliance while enforcing the boundary. But make no mistake, underneath the velvet, the iron must be immovable. If they push, the glove comes off. This internal fortitude is built through the practice of the inner no. Before you can say no to the world, you must learn to say no to yourself. This is the Stoic aspect of the dark path. You must say no to your own impulses for instant gratification, your own laziness, your own desire for comfort. Every time you deny yourself a pleasure to pursue a purpose, you are hardening your will. You are building the psychic callus necessary to withstand external pressure. If you cannot say no to a donut or a Netflix binge, how can you expect to say no to a high-pressure negotiation or a manipulative lover? Self-denial is the training ground for world denial. It creates a reserve of willpower. When you know you are the master of your own appetites, the attempts of others to control you seem laughable. You have conquered the tyrant inside, so the tyrants outside hold no terror for you. Furthermore, the strategic use of no creates a vacuum. When you refuse an offer, you create a space where a better offer can exist. In negotiation, the walk away is the nuclear option. Most people negotiate from a place of need. They signal, consciously or subconsciously, that they need the deal. The Machiavellian negotiates from a place of detachment. He signals that he wants the deal, but does not need it. When you reject a lowball offer and physically stand up to leave, you trigger a primal fear of loss in the opponent. Their brain screams that the opportunity is vanishing. In that panic, they will often bid against themselves to bring you back. Your no did not end the negotiation. It reset the terms in your favor. It shifted the dynamic from you begging for scraps to them begging for your presence. But this only works if the no is authentic. You must be truly willing to walk into the void. You must have the abundance mindset that says, there is always another deal, another lover, another opportunity. I am the source of value, not them. This mindset requires a dismantling of the scarcity trauma that plagues the lower classes of the mind. The poor mind thinks opportunities are rare. The rich mind, in spirit and strategy, knows that opportunities are manufactured. By saying no to the mediocre, you are manufacturing the space for the exceptional. You are curating your life like a museum. A museum is defined not by what is on the walls, but by what is in the basement. The curator says no to 99% of the art to ensure that the 1% on display is world-class. You are the curator of your existence. Every no is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your identity. Deepening this philosophy, we must confront the relationship between refusal and identity. You are defined by what you tolerate. If you tolerate disrespect, you are the person who gets disrespected. If you tolerate low pay, you are the cheap labor. If you tolerate bad behavior, you are the enabler. Every time you fail to say no to these things, you are implicitly saying yes to them. You are signing a contract with the universe that says, this is acceptable to me. And the universe, being a neutral mechanism, will continue to send you exactly what you have accepted. The act of saying no is an act of rewriting this contract. It is a rebellion against your past self. It is a declaration of war against the status quo. When you first start doing this, people will be angry. They will call you difficult. Good. Difficult is a synonym for expensive. Difficult means you have standards. Difficult means you are not a doormat. Embrace the friction. The friction is the heat of your new identity forming. Do not try to smooth it over. Let the conflict happen. Let the wrong people leave your life. Their departure is not a loss. It is an evacuation of occupied territory. You are reclaiming the land of your own soul. As you stand in the clearing you have created with your blade of refusal, you will feel a sensation that is alien to the yes man. The sensation of total, terrifying, exhilarating freedom. You are no longer reacting to the world. The world is reacting to you. You have become the cause rather than the effect. And as you wield this weapon, you will learn the nuance of the silent no. Not all refusals need to be spoken. Sometimes, the most powerful no is simply inaction. Ghosting, in a strategic context, is a message. Ignoring a provocation is a refusal to engage. Withholding your attention is a refusal to validate. In the age of constant connectivity, where everyone demands your eyes and ears, the act of ignoring is an act of violence against the narcissism of others. It tells them, you do not exist in my world. It is the ultimate insult and the ultimate conservation of energy. It drives manipulators insane because they cannot counter a move you didn't make. They cannot argue with silence. They cannot manipulate a ghost. By becoming unresponsive to low-value stimuli, you elevate yourself to a plane of existence they cannot reach. The economics of attention, weaponizing the void. Having established the foundational sovereignty of the no, we must now descend into the darker, more practical mechanics of its application. It is not enough to simply refuse. One must understand the commodity being refused. In the modern era, the most valuable currency is not gold or Bitcoin. It is attention. The giants of Silicon Valley, the media moguls, the politicians, and the toxic personalities in your life are all engaged in a ruthless war for your eyeballs and your mind share. To say no is to withdraw your capital from their bank. It is an act of economic warfare. When you refuse to give someone your attention, you are effectively bankrupting their ego. Consider the narcissist, a common archetype in the Machiavellian landscape. The narcissist does not seek love. He seeks supply. This supply comes in the form of reactions, admiration, anger, fear, or jealousy. It does not matter if you are screaming at him or worshiping him. As long as you are reacting, he is feeding. He is a parasite, and your attention is the blood. The yes man feeds the parasite constantly, draining himself until he is a husk. The master of the dark no employs the strategy of starvation. He cuts the supply line. He practices the gray rock method, but with an aggressive, internal intent. When the narcissist tries to provoke him, he offers nothing but a blank stare and a monosyllabic no. He refuses to engage in the drama. He refuses to defend himself against false accusations. He refuses to explain his actions. By withholding the emotional reaction, he forces the parasite to detach and seek a host elsewhere. This is not passive resistance. It is active starvation. You are watching the predator wither in front of you, not because you fought him, but because you denied him sustenance. This is the no of the void. But let us apply this to the professional realm. The corporate world is an ecosystem of energy theft. Meetings are often rituals of collective time wasting, designed to soothe the anxiety of incompetent managers rather than to produce results. The yes man attends every meeting, fearing he will be out of the loop. He drowns in the noise. The strategist employs the pocket veto. He simply does not attend. He declines the calendar invite without a note. He sends a proxy. Or, if forced to attend, he refuses to participate in the circular discussions. He sits in silence, working on his own high-value tasks mentally or physically on his laptop. When asked for his opinion on a trivial matter, he exercises the no of competence. He says, "I don't have an opinion on this. It's not a priority for the bottom line." This statement is shocking. It implies that everyone else is wasting time on non-priorities. It frames him as the only person focused on the true objective, money and power. By refusing to play the game of looking busy, he actually looks effective. He separates himself from the herd of busybodies. He becomes the lion who sleeps 20 hours a day, but kills with lethal efficiency in the remaining 4. This brings us to the concept of opportunity cost. As a razor, every yes carries a hidden price tag. If you say yes to a mediocre dinner party, the cost is not just the 3 hours you spend there. The cost is the book you didn't write, the business plan you didn't draft, the workout you didn't do, or the deep rest you didn't get. The yes man sees only the immediate social gain, avoiding awkwardness. The Machiavellian sees the compounding interest of lost time. He calculates the net present value of his refusal. If you value your time at $500 an hour, and you should internally, regardless of your current paycheck, then a 3-hour favor for a friend is a $1,500 gift. Would you open your wallet and hand that friend $1,500 cash? Likely not. Yet you hand them your time without a second thought. This is financial illiteracy of the soul. The art of refusal is the art of auditing your life. It is looking at every request and asking, is the return on investment, ROI, positive? If the answer is no, or even if the answer is maybe, The refusal must be swift and absolute. There is a dark pleasure in this audit. You begin to see the askers in your life for what they are: beggars. They are begging for your most finite resource. Once you see them as beggars, the guilt of refusing them evaporates. Do you feel guilty for not giving money to every panhandler on the street? No. You walk past. You must learn to walk past the time panhandlers in your office and your social circle with the same indifferent stride. This indifference is key. It must be genuine. You cannot fake the no. If you say no, but your eyes beg for approval, you have failed. The predator will smell the hesitation and pounce. He will press, he will wheedle, he will bully. You must cultivate a state of outcome independence. You must truly not care if they hate you. In fact, you should welcome their hatred. Their hatred is a sign that you are holding the line. As the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius might have noted in a darker mood, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. The best defense is not to care what your enemy thinks. Let us discuss the no of negotiation in deeper detail. This is where the rubber meets the road. In any deal, there is a ZOPA, zone of possible agreement. But before you enter that zone, you must establish your perimeter. You must anchor with a no. When the other side puts their first offer on the table, your reaction should never be okay or let me think. It should be a visceral refusal. You must wince. You must look insulted. You must say, no, that's not going to work. This initial no does two things. First, it resets their expectations. They realize their anchor failed. Second, it induces loss aversion. People hate losing more than they love gaining. By rejecting the offer, you make them feel they are losing the deal. They will immediately scramble to sweeten the pot. The yes man fears the conflict, so he counters with a weak, "Can you do a little better?" The Machiavellian says no and goes silent. He lets the silence do the heavy lifting. He waits for them to bid against themselves. He knows that the person who speaks first after a refusal is the loser. There is a nuance here called the sandwich no, not to be confused with the compliment sandwich. This is refusal, alternative, refusal. I can't do that price. No. I can do X price if you drop Y conditions, alternative. But if Y is necessary, then I can't do it, refusal. This structure shows flexibility, but ultimately circles back to the hard boundary. It gives them a way out, the alternative, but keeps the door firmly shut on their original bad offer. It trains them that the only path to yes is through your terms. Now, consider the no as a tool for seduction. We touched on this, but let's go deeper. In the dynamics of desire, yes kills tension. No builds it. When you are too available, you destroy the fantasy. The fantasy relies on the gap between desire and acquisition. By saying no to a date, to a sexual advance, to a demand for attention, you widen that gap. You become a challenge. You become a puzzle. Why doesn't he want me? What does he have that is more important than me? These questions haunt the mind of the pursuer. You are utilizing the Zeigarnik effect, the psychological principle that people remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. A yes completes the task. A no leaves it open, unresolved, itching in the brain. The masters of seduction, the sirens, the Casanovas, were masters of the calculated refusal. They gave just enough hope to keep the victim chasing, but enough refusal to keep them hungry. They managed the dopamine drip. If you give the whole bottle of dopamine at once, the addict overdoses and leaves. If you drip it, drop by drop, always withholding the full dose, You own them forever. But be warned, this is a dangerous game. It requires calibration. If you say no too much, the target becomes discouraged and leaves extinction. You must mix in the yes unpredictably. This is variable ratio enforcement, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. You pull the lever, ask you for something. Sometimes you say no. Sometimes you say no. Sometimes you say no. And then, ding, 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 you say yes. The rush of that unpredictable yes is euphoric because it was preceded by the no. If the slot machine paid out every time, it would be boring. You must be the slot machine. You must be the algorithm of their addiction. Let us pivot to the no in leadership. A leader is defined by what he forbids. A weak leader tries to please everyone. He creates a design-by-committee culture where every bad idea is entertained to avoid hurting feelings. The result is mediocrity. The great leader is a butcher of ideas. Steve Jobs was famous for this. He would slash product lines, reject prototypes, and tell engineers their work was shit. This was not just cruelty, it was quality control. His no was the filter that ensured only excellence survived. If you are in a position of power, or want to be, you must learn to reject work that is not up to standard immediately and without apology. This isn't good enough. Do it again. This creates a culture of high performance. It signals that your approval is a scarce resource that must be earned. If you accept mediocrity once, you establish a new baseline. You have said yes to failure. By saying no, you raise the floor. You force the team to level up or leave. You become the standard bearer. This applies to your inner circle as well. The Machiavellian practices social pruning. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those 5 people are losers, complainers, or yes men, you will sink to their level. You must say no to their presence. You must cut them off. This is painful. It feels like betrayal. But it is necessary surgery. You cannot soar with eagles if you are scratching with turkeys. You must look at your friends and ask, is this person an asset or a liability? If they are a liability, the refusal to engage must be absolute. You stop answering their calls. You stop inviting them. You let the relationship atrophy. You create space for the yes to new alliances that serve your ascent. There is a metaphysical aspect to this pruning. It is called via negativa, the way of negation. Theology and philosophy teach that we often cannot know what God is, only what God is not. Similarly, we cannot always know what success is, but we know what it is not. It is not distraction. It is not pleasing others. It is not mediocrity. By systematically saying no to everything that is not your highest path, the path reveals itself. You carve the statue of your life by chipping away the stone that doesn't belong. The no is the chisel. Finally, in this section, we must address the no to society. Society is a conspiracy against the individual. It wants you to be a cog. It wants you to buy things you don't need, watch news that scares you, and vote for people who don't care about you. It wants your compliance. It bombards you with the script. Go to school, get a job, get married, buy a house, retire, die. The sovereign individual looks at this script and says, no. He refuses to be defined by his job title. He refuses to be manipulated by the outrage of the news cycle. He refuses to go into debt to impress people he hates. This grand refusal is the beginning of true power. It allows you to step outside the matrix. While others are running on the hamster wheel, terrified of falling off. You step off the wheel entirely. You watch them run. You realize that their entire reality is built on a collective yes to a set of lies. By saying no, you become the glitch in the system. You become dangerous because you are free, and freedom is the ultimate goal of dark psychology. We do not learn these arts to become petty tyrants. We learn them to escape the tyranny of others. We learn to say no, so that when we finally say yes to a passion, to a mission, to a true love, it means something. It is the yes of a king, not a serf. The tactical implementation, verbal judo, and the art of the soft kill. We have explored the philosophy and the economics of refusal. Now, we must arm you with the specific weapons of execution. The theory of no is useless if your throat tightens and your voice cracks when the moment comes. You need a repertoire of verbal maneuvers, linguistic daggers and shields that allow you to deliver the refusal with surgical precision. This is verbal judo. The goal is not to bludgeon the opponent, but to use their own momentum to deflect their request, leaving them empty-handed but strangely grateful. 1. The policy shield. The most effective way to depersonalize a refusal is to externalize it to a policy. When you say, "I don't want to lend you money," it is personal. It invites an argument about your friendship. When you say, "I have a strict personal policy never to lend money to friends because I value the relationship too much to risk it," it is structural. You have shifted the no from a whim to a law. People respect laws. They argue with whims. You have framed the refusal as an act of protecting the friendship. It is a no wrapped in a yes to the relationship. Application. I have a policy of not taking meetings on Fridays. Application. I have a policy of not investing in sectors I don't fully manage. The beauty of the policy is that it implies you have done this to everyone, not just them. It removes the sting of rejection. 2. The deferred authority, the invisible boss. If you are not yet comfortable with being the bad guy, invent a bad guy. This is the good cop, bad cop routine, played by one person. I would love to help, but my partner/board, financial advisor/wife would kill me. We agreed to a strict freeze on new commitments. You align yourself with the requester, "I would love to," but point to a higher authority that ties your hands. This is classic Machiavellian misdirection. You retain your likability while enforcing your boundary. You are the sympathetic messenger delivering the execution order signed by an invisible king. 3. The silence after the ask. We touched on this, but it requires drill-like practice. When someone makes a difficult request, do not answer immediately. Look at them. Count to 3 in your head. This silence is a vacuum. It makes them nervous. They start to hear how unreasonable their request sounds echoing in the quiet room. Often, they will start negotiating against themselves before you even speak. Them. Can you do this for $500? Use silence, eye contact. Them. Or maybe $600. I know $500 is low. You have just made $100 by doing absolutely nothing. The no was implied by your lack of an enthusiastic yes. 4. The broken record technique. Manipulators hate this one. They will try to argue with your reason. Them. Come to the party. You. I can't, I have work. Them. Bring your work. It'll be fun. You. I can't, I have work. Them. You're being boring. You. I understand, but I can't, I have work. Do not change your phrasing. Do not offer a new excuse. If you offer a new excuse, they will attack that one. By repeating the same phrase with the same flat tonality, you signal that you are a wall, not a door. You are not engaging in the debate. You are merely stating a fact of nature. Eventually, they will tire and move on. 5. the complement kill. This is for high-stakes social situations where you need to preserve capital while denying the request. You praise the request to death while burying it. That is a brilliant project, and I am honored you thought of me. It deserves someone who can give it 100% focus. And right now, my schedule is so packed, I would only be able to give it 50%. I respect your vision too much to do a halfway job on it. Translation: no, but the packaging is exquisite. You have framed your refusal as an act of respect for their vision. You have flattered their ego, brilliant project, while protecting your time. They walk away rejected, but feeling validated. This is the soft kill. It's the conditional yes, the poisoned pill. Sometimes the best no is a yes that is so expensive they refuse you. Them: can you consult on this project? You: yes, I can. My rate for rush jobs is $5,000 per day, paid up front. If they agree, you just made a fortune. If they refuse, which is likely, they are the ones saying no, not you. You were willing to help. They just couldn't afford you. This establishes your high value and eliminates the request simultaneously. It is the ultimate power move. 7. The corrective no. This is used when someone crosses a line or disrespects you. It must be delivered cold, without a smile. Them: disrespectful joke. You: no, we don't do that here. Them: can I just borrow your car? You: no, that's not going to happen. Short, sharp, final. Do not soften it. The lack of softness is the message. It signals that a boundary has been violated and the territory is defended. It triggers a primal back-off response in the other primate's brain, deepening the inner game. The fear of selfishness. Why do these techniques feel hard? Because you are haunted by the ghost of selfishness. Society has weaponized this word to control you. Don't be selfish translates to don't put your needs above mine. The Machiavellian realizes that rational self-interest is the engine of the world. A selfish man who takes care of his health, his wealth, and his mind is a stable node in the network. A selfless man who burns himself out helping everyone is a liability, a collapsing star that destroys everything in its orbit. By saying no, you are preserving the asset that is you. You are engaging in strategic selfishness so that you can be effective in the long run. You are putting on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Do not apologize for breathing. The no to the past. Sunk cost fallacy. One of the hardest no's is to a commitment you made in the past that no longer serves you. The sunk cost fallacy binds you to a bad investment or a bad relationship because I've already put so much time into it. The dark psychologist knows that the past is dead capital. It has zero value. Only the future yield matters. You must learn to say no to your past self. The version of me that agreed to this 6 months ago was less informed, less busy, less wise. The current version of me is revoking that consent. This is zero-based thinking. Ask yourself, if I were not already in this relationship/job project, would I enter it today? If the answer is no, then you must exit immediately, ruthlessly. Walking away from a bad investment is not quitting. It is cutting losses. It is a victory of logic over emotion. The no as a filter for loyalty. When you start saying no, watch who gets angry. People who respect you will accept your boundaries. I get it. You're busy. People who only valued your utility will be enraged. You've changed. You're selfish. This anger is data. It reveals that their relationship with you was transactional. They are like a vending machine that you stopped putting coins into. They are kicking you because the product stopped dropping. Use the no to flush out these parasites. Let them throw their tantrums. Let them leave. You are cleaning house. The ultimate no. The memento mori. Finally, we anchor the power of refusal in the ultimate reality. Death. You are dying. The sand in the hourglass is running out. Every second you spend doing something you hate, with people you tolerate, for rewards you don't value, is a second stolen from your limited existence. The Machiavellian meditates on death, not to be morbid, but to be urgent. When you realize your time is finite, your no becomes sacred. It becomes a shield, protecting the dwindling moments of your life. Who has the right to demand a slice of your dying breath? No one. You give it only to those who deserve it. You give it only to the great work. When you view your time through the lens of death, saying no to a boring meeting or a toxic friend is not just a strategy. It is a spiritual duty. It is an act of reverence for the gift of life. Conclusion of this section: the sovereign state. By mastering the architecture, economics, and tactics of refusal, you declare independence. You secede from the union of people-pleasers. You become a sovereign state of one. You have borders, boundaries. You have immigration control, vetting. You have a currency, attention. And you have a foreign policy, the no. Others may visit your state. They may trade with it, but they cannot occupy it. You are free. The bloodiest battlefields. Refusal in the trenches of intimacy and power. We have forged the sword of refusal and learned the forms of combat. Now, we must carry this weapon into the three most dangerous arenas of human existence: the hierarchy, bosses, the tribe, family, and the bed, lovers. In these domains, the no is not just a tactical maneuver. It is an existential risk. A miscalculated refusal here can cost you your livelihood, your lineage, or your heart. Yet, it is precisely here that the no is most necessary, for slavery in these domains is the most absolute. 1. The hierarchy, saying no to the king, bosses, and clients. In the corporate feudal system, the boss represents the king. To refuse the king is treason. However, a king does not respect a sycophant. He uses him and discards him. He respects the general who says, "Sire, if we march there, we will die." The art of saying no to a superior is the art of framing refusal as protection of the superior's interests. The resource constraints frame: never say, "I don't want to." Say, "The physics of the situation do not allow it." Boss: "I need this new project done by Monday." Amateur: "I can't, I have too much work." Sounds like whining. Strategist: "I can certainly prioritize this new project. However, doing so will require pausing the Alpha initiative, which will delay the quarterly revenue report. Which of these two priorities would you like me to sacrifice to execute this new order? This is the trade-off pivot. You are not saying no. You are forcing the boss to say no to one of his own desires. You are illuminating the cost of his request. Most bosses are blind to cost. They only see benefit. By revealing the cost, delayed revenue, you force them to withdraw the request to save themselves. You remain the loyal soldier ready to execute. It is the situation that refuses. The quality control frame. Client: "Can you add these 5 features for free?" Strategist: "I care too much about the integrity of this product to dilute it with rushed features. If we add these without proper scope and budget, the system will crash/fail. I am not willing to put my name, or yours, on a failed product." You are protecting them from their own stupidity. You are the guardian of quality. A client may be annoyed by the cost, but they will be terrified of the failure. Fear is a stronger motivator than greed. Use their fear of failure to anchor your no, the silent insubordination. Sometimes, the best way to say no to a micromanaging boss is simply to not do it, or to do it so slowly it becomes irrelevant. This is risky, but effective in bloated bureaucracies. When given a stupid order, nod, say, "I'll look into it," and then bury it. If they ask again in a week, say, "Still analyzing the data." Most stupid orders are whims. They are forgotten in 48 hours. By the time they remember, the crisis has passed. You have saved your energy by engaging in strategic inertia. 2. The tribe. Saying no to the blood. Family. Family is the original cult. It installs the guilt buttons in your psyche before you can speak. To say no to family is to violate the primal commandment, honor thy father and mother. But the Machiavellian knows that a toxic family is an anchor that will drown you. The differentiation strategy. You must realize that you are not an extension of your parents/siblings. You are a separate biological entity. Mom, why don't you visit every Sunday? You don't love me. The trap. Emotional blackmail. Equating presence with love. The cut. I love you, but I am building my own life, career, family now. That requires my focus. I can visit once a month. That is what works for me. Do not argue about love. Argue about logistics. Love is abstract. Logistics are concrete. Set the schedule. They will scream. They will cry. They will accuse. Let them. Think of it as a toddler's tantrum. You do not negotiate with a screaming toddler. You wait for them to tire out. Eventually, they will accept the once-a-month deal because it is better than nothing. You train them to accept your scraps. The financial firewall. Family often views the successful member as a communal bank. Sibling. Can I borrow $5,000 for a business idea? The no. I have a rule not to mix family and finance. I value our relationship too much to let money ruin it. The policy shield again. Or the liquidity lie. My money is all tied up in long-term investments/trusts. I literally cannot access cash right now. Never admit to having liquid cash. To family, liquidity equals availability. Always appear asset-rich but cash-poor. The black sheep maneuver. Sometimes, you must embrace the role of the villain. If your family is toxic, let them hate you. Distance is safety. If saying no makes you the black sheep, wear that wool with pride. The black sheep is the only one who escapes the slaughterhouse of mediocrity. The rest of the flock stays together and gets sheared. Being the outcast gives you the freedom to build your own tribe. 3. The bed. Saying no to the siren, lovers, and spouses. This is the most intimate battlefield. The power dynamic in a relationship is defined by who controls the no to emotional dumping. Partners often use each other as emotional trash cans. Partner. Venting for 2 hours about the same issue without solving it. The boundary. I want to support you, but we've discussed this in circles for an hour. Unless we are talking about a solution, I need to switch off for my own mental health. This is not cruelty, it is leadership. You are refusing to wallow in stagnation. You are demanding forward momentum. The no to tests, shit tests. In dating, partners, especially women, but men too, will test your frame to see if you are strong. They will make unreasonable demands or act bratty to see if you crumble. Test. If you loved me, you would cancel your boys' night/gym session. The fail. Canceling it. You think you are showing love. You are showing weakness. You are showing that your mission is secondary to her whim. The pass. I love you, but I'm going to the gym. I'll see you at 9. You pass the test by saying no. It signals that you have a spine. It signals that you are on a path that cannot be derailed. This breeds attraction. Paradoxically, saying no to her demand makes her say yes to your character. The walk away in negotiation of commitment. If the relationship values do not align, e.g., kids versus no kids lifestyle, The ultimate no is the breakup. Many people stay in zone of misery because they fear being alone. The Machiavellian is comfortable in solitude. We want different things. I am not going to compromise my vision, and I don't expect you to compromise yours. So, this ends today. This clarity is brutal but merciful. It stops the slow bleeding of a doomed compromise. It frees both parties. The philosophy of the sacred no, protection of the source. Why must we fight these battles? Why risk the anger of bosses, family, and lovers? Because you are protecting the source. The source is your creative energy, your sanity, your drive. It is the golden goose. Bosses want to cook the goose for a quarterly bonus. Family wants to pluck its feathers to make a pillow. Lovers want to keep it in a cage as a pet. Only you care about the goose's survival. Every no is a bar in the cage you build to protect the source. When you are drained, burned out, and resentful because you said yes to everyone, the source dries up. You have nothing left to give. You become useless to the very people you tried to please. By saying no, you preserve your capacity to say a powerful, life-changing yes when it matters. The no as a filter for truth. Finally, the no acts as a solvent for illusions. When you say no, the mask falls off the other person. The boss who claimed "we are a family" fires you. Now you know the truth. It was a business. The lover who claimed unconditional love leaves you. Now you know the truth. It was conditional on compliance. The friend who claimed loyalty ghosts you. Now you know the truth. They were a parasite. The no forces reality to reveal itself. It destroys the comfortable lies we live in. It leaves you standing in a landscape that is stark, empty, but real. From this ground of reality, you can build something that lasts. You can build a life that is yours, not a patchwork of other people's demands. This is the path of the sovereign. It is a lonely path at first. The herd does not like it when a sheep grows fangs, but as you walk it, you will find that the air is cleaner, the view is clearer, and the people who walk beside you are not masters or dependents, but kings and queens in their own right. The grand synthesis, the monolith of will. Imagine yourself as a monolith, stone, immovable. The wind blows, opinions. The rain falls, guilt. The waves crash, demands. The monolith does not argue with the wave. It simply is. Its existence is a no to the ocean's attempt to erode it. Be the monolith. Let your no be as natural and as hard as granite. Do not shout it. Do not whisper it. State it. And in that statement, find your power.